What's up, world? It's your boy, Coach EB, aka EB the Geeker, and welcome to another episode of Talking Hoops in the Sip. That's right, Talking Hoops in the Sip. Oh man, I'm excited about tonight's show. Hey, right now it's just me, but the guys will be on here shortly. I wanted to go ahead and at least pop on because we wanted to start on time. And you'll just have me for a second, and then we'll have some guys popping on. We're gonna have snacks and hopefully Talante and Shoes and Cord and Eddie. But right now you have the little bit of the geeker. And so I'm excited about what we got going here today. First of all, before we get going, we want to always, tell you about our sponsors.
That's right, Talking Hoops in the Sip.
Our sponsors.
Oh man, I'm excited about tonight's show. Hey, right now it's just me.
Y'all probably heard a little bit of that. But sponsor our show, as always, Tatum and Wade Law Firm, located at 124 East Meat Street, right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Tatum and Wade are real lawyers who get real results. Now, I say if you want to get paid, then you need to go to Tatum and Wade. Yes, that's what I say, So at the end of the day, I'm excited about tonight's show. Here we go. We got Mr. Snacks, Thomas Lee. ESPY Award winner is popping in. So Snacks, what's up, baby? We're live.
Oh, we already live.
We already live, man. We had to get going. It started at 8:00, so we already had to get rolling, man. And so we had to get it going. So we was gonna go ahead and talk about the boys. Go ahead and talk about the boys first tonight, and then we'll finish talking about the girls. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, it's a lot of stuff been happening, around our state, especially in basketball. I guess we can dive right in. There was a huge tournament. I think on the last show we talked about Talante's deal, the Tip-Off Classic. He had a really good event, really well ran, well organized, the event that he had in Columbus. I think that was the last time we talked about his event. But then on this past weekend, there was the Mississippi Hoops Challenge ran by Lamont Roy. He had a really good deal on Saturday the 26th. And I know I saw you in the building along with a lot of different, college coaches and a lot of good teams. There were some good girls teams and some good boys teams that was there. Let's take a look at, from your perspective, who has been a pleasant surprise for you on the boys side so far this year. Name a few players that you feel like that you've seen this year that you've been kind of surprised with, and you saying, man, they having a pretty good start to their season.
Of course, one of the sleepers, like you say, that's in JPS, Cortez, that's at Murrah. I think he's been having a good year. I know he's been battling a little injury, but I think he's been playing. He's been playing well. Of course, I know Sam's not a sleeper, but as a freshman playing varsity basketball, I think he's definitely been doing a great job so far. He is young, but like you say, he is giving you a lot of production that as a ninth grader. I think, man. The big, I think his name is Larry. That's at Raymond.
Larry Lee, love him.
Larry Lee has definitely been one of the ones that, of course, a lot of people may not talk about all the time, but what he does is very, very valuable for Raymond's program. Great rebounder, great energy. Seems like he's a good teammate. he definitely give Raymond a lot. They've been having a great season so far too.
Yeah, he would be a guy that I would consider, to be honest with you, is one of those unsung heroes. Larry Lee, 6'4", 6'5", undersized, big, but he just plays super hard. Will trick you with his athleticism. He might go up and dunk it. He may go up and get the rebound like I've seen him get a big time rebound. Look like he at the square. You don't have to call a play for him, and he
Right.
finds a way to score the basketball. I think every coach needs a Larry Lee, on
No
their
doubt.
team. And you mentioned Quaterius over at Murrah. Murrah started out 2-0, and they've been struggling lately. I think they have gone 2-6, and one of the biggest reasons of that is Cord has been out. He just got back, I think, on Saturday. He's trying to feel his way back. He's been injured, and Murrah has taken they've been hurting a big hurting. They lost the kid Booth. Booth was averaging about 16 and 8, and they haven't been able to shake that loss. Murrah has Corterius, Javian Cooper. Arguably, probably one of the best backcourts in the state, but they just needed that extra guy. 16-8 is hard to replace, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Corterius.
I think the trio at Provine been playing pretty well too.
Provine.
Jacoby, Majay, and Javian, they've been playing pretty well. I think they only have 2 losses this year so far too.
Yeah, Provine's playing well. Provine, I watched them for the first time this year, and I think they beat who did they beat this week? They was a good team. Holmes County Central. Beat Holmes County Central. Not really deep. You look at the big three that they have, and you can argue Ty Goler makes them with the big four. He's a big piece of that puzzle. Then they have another kid. I want to say Thompson is his.
Yeah, that's Raquez Thompson.
Raquez.
Yep. I think Jamal has been playing well for him too. He's kind of one of them utility guys that
number
rebounds
22. That number 22.
Yeah.
Love him. He's he's an unsung, another geeker unsung hero. He does a lot of good stuff for him. But I think that's really they play about 6 guys. That's their core 6, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I say that's their core group of guys.
And so they're pretty good. That 6 is pretty good. So Provine is a team in 5A that could make a run down, to Jackson. They could.
And I think we can't forget about Terry. They've been having a good year too. I think Trey Smith been on the tear.
I don't know what has Trey been doing. I know Trey is a really good player, but I tell you another kid on there, 6'5", Tyrell Shorts.
Yeah, he's been doing good too.
Who's another kid that I know he's been having some big games, and I know Terry. Have they lost? Maybe they've only lost 1 game.
Yeah, they probably. I don't think they lost more than 2-3 games.
Yeah, I know that they've been playing well. So Terry is another team in the metro area that's pretty good. Getting back to Raymond, I think Raymond had a big win this week on Saturday, won in a low-scoring kind of game. I thought 43-39 over Starkville, who's another team who's really, really, as always, my man Woody always have those guys ready to play. And so I think that was a pretty good, win for them. I think EJ Payman, wasn't he just coming off injury? And he made it back. I think he had been kind of hurt, hadn't he?
Yeah, he was out for a little while with an injury, but like you say, he came back and definitely, like you say, he made his impact felt from start to finish, altering shots.
Yeah, he didn't really. I don't know if he scored the ball a lot. It didn't seem like he scored a lot of points that day. But what people have to understand, a lot of times, even though he didn't score the ball a lot that particular day, his presence was felt because of he's 6'9", he blocks shots. He's out there, and when you're out there watching him, you got to really watch him. You got to be in he creates a lot of space for people to do a lot of other things. So he was really good on as far as doing that. Again, didn't score the ball super well, but again, he was really instrumental. The young
Right.
man who got done that day as far as scoring, and I think he was the MVP of the game, 42, the game was 42-38, was Kamarius Lewis. He had 18 points. I saw Tony Tadlock when they got a chance to, they got him in some ISO situation, and he was able to get to the basket at will and score the basketball for them to kind of close the game out. So
Right.
he was good for me. He's a kid that you don't hear a lot about that came on and played, pretty well. Let me ask you this: did you get a chance? Still staying in that theme of this week, did you get a chance to see Horn Lake? That game, was you there for the Horn Lake game?
I got to catch the second half, but the part that I did see, those twins were so special.
Yeah,
They were getting busy.
I've heard about them. Kylan Purnell and Kyren Purnell. They both were, Kylan had 23 and Kyren had 18. And that's what I've been hearing about Horn Lake. Chico Potts, former head coach at Mississippi Valley State, and also at Gentry, has Horn Lake playing at a high level right now. He plays, a lot of pressure basketball, plays hard. He's gonna have the kids playing hard. Horn Lake is Horn Lake is one of those teams. They beat Northwest Rankin. They beat Northwest Rankin pretty good, and I think Northwest Rankin is pretty good. They handle them.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I
70,
definitely think they're one of them teams that if you gotta put a team in the equation, win state championship, they're gonna have something to say. I definitely think they got a good chance.
And they get, I think coming up soon, they're going to play undefeated Olive Branch, while we're talking about, schools who arguably is, right now I would have to put Olive Branch boys as number one in the state, wouldn't you say? Because they are 6-0. I think they beat Starkville. I think they beat Tupelo. And so I think that's
quality wins.
That's a huge win. And I know they have, I know they got a 3-guard headed monster. I know Zaire Gutierrez, whom I really love in 2024. And then they have one of the best players in the state, any class, in Jalen Tyler. I don't know the other guard, Olive Branch, at this is escaping my mind at this point. But Jalen Tyler and Zaire Gutierrez, and they got another kid that can really score the basketball for them. They've had a pretty good start. If anybody's on that has that name on our chats, go ahead and drop their names from Olive Branch, and so we can give them their due.
I think Clint has been real solid too. One of the other sleepers kind of kid, Tyler Nichols. I think he always give you like that game where you're looking like, of course, Kari Hampton is gonna always be pretty solid for him, but he's one of the guys that sometimes you don't count for what he does as well. Like he scored double figure for him a lot.
Is that number 10? Which one is Kari?
Number 10? That's Cam. That's Cam. Cam
Okay.
Wilkes. He's pretty good too.
Yeah, he's another sleeper. But yeah, Tyler. Which one is Tyler the one who scored? Who hit some big buckets for him last year?
Yeah, he's the one that's the athletic kind of point guard. He jumps real high on his jump shot.
Okay, yeah, but he had some big buckets for him last year in the state championship.
Right.
Are you talking about him?
I think that's him. Yeah, I think that's him. Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler Nichols. Yeah. He can flat out. Yeah. He hit some huge buckets as a sophomore because he's a junior, right? Is Tyler a junior?
He may be I think he was a junior last year. He may be a senior this year. I'm not sure.
Okay, we got to check that one too, because I definitely, I think I know. Clinton, man, has, people can say what they want. Coach Taylor has done a phenomenal job with Clinton, after Coach Green had left, won a state championship. Coach Taylor comes right behind him, wins another state title, and he's got Clinton, clearly in the mix. Clinton boys are somebody you're going to have to deal with. Like, they,
Sure.
I don't know if they can pull off a three-peat, but if they do, it's not gonna be like you're gonna be super shocked. They're talented enough they may be able to pull together, because they're very deep. They have about 8-9 guys that he plays in his rotation. The twins, they finally got an opportunity to play this year, and
Right.
they're coming.
Yeah, they've been pretty good for him.
Yeah, they're subbing in for each other. He does a really good job. I watch his from his X's and O's, and I think about a guy like Coach Taylor, and it just kind of warms my heart, because he's a guy who, Clinton's that quote unquote elite job, and he got passed over for so many times, and then finally he got his opportunity and went right in and took advantage of it and hadn't looked back. So,
Like my guy Tang said, you can't underestimate the heart of a champion. Every year, he always tell me that. Like you say, Clinton always gonna be a team that it's definitely gonna be in the mix, because he does do a great job of preparing them and having them ready to play.
Yeah, and that's that's you can't argue with that. I mean, he does, like I said, he does a phenomenal job with that. Who else
On
would you
the MAIS side now, I gotta go make this statement.
Okay.
Josh Hubbard has been capital special.
Capital special.
Capital special all season.
All
I think
season.
I think he just separated himself. His level of play, his production, just all across the board, from his efficiency standpoint, from being able to create a shot with more fluidity. Like you say, he already does a lot of things great, and you can see definitely in his development where he's definitely took that next step. They just played this past weekend. I think he had like 26 first half, and he finished with 38 against Bartlett High School. But I think they beat Biloxi, and he had 38. And then I think they lost to Gulfport, and I think he had 29. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but he's definitely on pace to be the all-time leading scorer. So yeah. he's been special.
I saw him play live at last time I seen him play live was at the New Hope deal, and he was very, obviously he was solid there. He didn't have a phenomenal, but I watched some video from Southside Hoops. My boy Kevin Walden down there with Southside Hoops, and on the coast, it just seemed like he just, like, I don't know what it is, but on the coast, he feel like, most people on vacation down there on coast, and he just down there, like, he had a different demeanor. He was in straight kill mode. Like, I don't know what they saying down there, but man, they are like, you can argue he's had his best games down on the coast. You go back to his 9th grade year as a freshman, he had 47 against Gulfport. And people always want to talk about, sometimes you have people saying, well, it's MAIS. Well, one thing I can say about the legendary coach over at MRA, he's not scared to play anybody.
Like they say, he's not ducking no smoke.
No, he ain't ducking. He ain't ducking nothing. He'll play as many games as you want. He'll come to you. He'll play on the parking lot. He'll play wherever. He's got an MRA playing really well, and that's without the kid
Ashton McGee.
Ashton McGee, who's going to be a big time piece.
Definitely.
Two, because now when you got Ashton McGee, Josh,
and Harrison
Alexander, that big three, you can put up with against anybody in the state.
Right. Then, like you say, they have other guys. I think like Sam Haley, like guys floor spacers that you can't really help off of. So it definitely opens up the floor for them to be a very exciting team to watch.
Yeah, I think Josh is definitely the thing about what I've seen with Josh, and I do like this about what I've seen. I've seen him improve every year. You're talking about a kid who has, obviously been scoring at a high level, but he's just gotten better every year. His body, his athleticism, his ability to run the team, all those different things he's continued to improve upon. Uh, I tell you, another team that got a huge transfer in was Clinton Christian.
Hartfield. Oh, Clint Chris. Oh yeah. Oh definitely. Yeah.
KJ Lambert has transferred, from Clinton High School. He had 14 in his first game. And KJ is a uh, phenomenal shooter. Couldn't get on it was a thing where, to be honest, it just was too, Clinton had too many guys. And I thought, I think in a situation like that, when you have too many guys like that, that was a good move for him.
Right.
Him moving over there. And you said about Hartfield.
Yeah, they got a big time transfer. They got Austin over there. He
Austin
had, I mean, is that his name? That was at Terry.
What's it?
The athletic kid. He played with WACG this past summer. He did you get a chance to come out to Mark's event at Madison Central?
No, I missed that one.
Oh yeah, I think his name is Austin if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and
But
our live chatters, help us out. If you would. If you know some of these kids or you want to add on, we love to have you jump in on our live chat again. Again, welcome to the show. Those of you popping on, we did see we had a couple comments or one comment from Prada about Murr and Lanier, but as we mentioned, Murr struggle. We'll get back to Hartfield. Lanier
had a good win against Germantown.
Big win. And Willie Jones, nice score for them. He had about 14, was the MVP of that game. They also have my man Cameron at the point, and they have the big fella. He's gotten better.
Nick.
6'7" kid, Nick. Long. I think he'll be a good piece. I think he's only going to get better. He looks 6'8". When he was out there guarding Sam Murray, he looked like, we know Sam is at least 6'10". And
you said Sam Murray, he be fun.
I said Murray, Sam punches, yeah. We know Sam is about 6'10". But
yeah, he took on the tab, man. He didn't early. He kind of shied away, but as the game got going and juices started flowing, he took on that challenge though, guarding Sam.
Yeah,
I saw the coach kind of get on him early in the game, telling him he was ducking the matchup. But yeah. I saw him make some good plays, here and there, blocking some shots and rebounding the basketball. So it was good. It was good to see him not bow down.
I was talking to George Brooks, who's at the game. Obviously, he's offered EJ Payment and Sam Punches, and from Mississippi State, longtime assistant coach. And he was saying something that Ben Howland used to say. He said, which was very interesting and very funny. He said, Sam Punches is 14 years of age. He was talking about how young he was, and he looks young. And he said, Ben Howland would say something like, 2 years ago, he was 12, and so that was, I thought very, it's kind of a chuckle because, you're right. When you look at Sam Punches and you can see his game as it develops, he's just a kid, he's a baby. He really has a baby face, really soft touch. I can't wait till he just start dunking on people and start growling,
Yeah.
he just, all that type of stuff. Continue to work on his shot, but he has a soft touch. And even right now, it's tough. Like now, I really want to touch this lightly, but I know he was had MRA last year, and I guess my question is, how does he not play at MRA last year? I mean, what's our thoughts on that? Because when I look at him, he just looked like a kid I would have had to play even as an eighth grader. Has he improved that much that because I remember watching MRA and they didn't have a 6'8" kid. I know
Yeah,
that.
they didn't have a 6'8" kid, but I'll probably say it was just more so of just timing. Like you say, you know, with that in a situation like that, I just think it's more so like a trust the process type of situation where you like gradually implement them in, and of course, like you say, you can't teach 6'8", you can't teach 6'9", of course, but I definitely think that like I think to gradually ease them in because I mean they like I said they made it a game away from the state championship, and I mean they had a pretty solid team, and I think rotational wise, I think you couldn't necessarily just promise him, the minutes that, maybe like others would want to see him have. But I definitely think like this year would have been a great year. Being a ninth grade, he would have definitely got a lot of minutes for him this year. But I think rotational wise, like you say, just like a rookie going into the league, sometimes that first year minutes is definitely different from their second year minutes. So EV, you muted. I can't hear you. You muted. You muted.
Yeah, I know. I took a call. That was our guy Shoes. I was like, man, where you at? We on the show.
Oh,
He's like,
okay.
and so it's like I was he had called. But yeah, and I know about, trusting the process, and I got it. Obviously, you're talking about a story program, so I get it. But I guess my thought process is like, I see him at 6'8". He's only going to get taller. I'm going to figure out. I don't, I'm not losing that one. That's just EV. Now that's just me. I ain't tripping. And the show has gone on, so it's not like at the end of the day they're going to probably their fate. They went to the overall championship. Oh no, they went to the Final Four, but they won a state championship and almost won the overall. So, or did they lose the state championship to Jackson Prep?
Yeah, I think they lost the state championship and they was in the semifinals of the overall.
Overall, yeah. So they were, it's not like it was a need for him. But boy, can you imagine him being on that team this year with Josh, Harrison, just food for thought. But I
Yeah,
will tell you,
it would have been big. They would have had some kind of length and athleticism out there with Ashley McGee and Harrison, Josh, and Sam. Yeah, it would have been hard to beat.
yeah, and even without Sam, they're going to still be the team to beat. Like I said, Clinton Christian. I think Clinton Christian is, I would say, their most formidable opponent in the MAIS. That's what I would say. I don't know. I don't know if Hartfield's gonna have I don't know if Hartfield's gonna have enough. As we welcome in.
And I think Jackson Academy is gonna be solid, but like I say, I don't know if they'll have enough either.
Yeah, Jackson Academy has seems like the young fella Josh Holman, who's seemed like Josh been in school for like 10 years. I saw him this weekend and he was like, what up, Geeker? And so it was like, man, you ain't been to none of my games, and you gonna check them out. And I was like, well, I'm gonna try to get out there. And it's like, man, you still in high school. It's kind of like you've been in high school forever, but he's a 6'6" kid who really a versatile player. I think his best basketball is ahead of him as he continues to go on. As we have Talante, joined by Talante Weber, Southern Sports Platform. And Talante, we were just talking about the last time we were on at your great event, the Tip-Off Classic that you had. And I want to say this while Talante's on, as I've said before, and as we were talking about Lamont Roy's event yesterday, they were, I was privileged to be at both. two well-ran class organized, great teams, great hospitality, events. And my hat's off to both of those guys who did a great job of fielding, two great, it was just two great events. And it's really a staple that, we'll be at. And I know Snacks is getting ready to have a great event. I know Mark Rowe had a good event. He always has a good one with the Rumble. And so we have, I think what we need to do is give our flowers to these guys while they're here, of course, because, you never know. People leave this world every day. So I want to at least acknowledge them and then acknowledge the good job that they're doing because, you can't predict as far as they try to do as much as they can to stay on schedule, but everything is just quality all the way around. Good games, is good excitement, and so we welcome Talante on. Talante Shoes, y'all jump right in. Me and Snacks have just been talking about some of the players, the boys that you feel, and along with the teams that you guys have seen that you feel like have impressed you guys so far?
Well, I haven't actually seen them. I saw them on video. I watched the live stream of their game. I've been impressed with, Gulfport is playing really good. They'll be down in this area tomorrow at MRA. I'm gonna definitely make it a point to get over there to lay eyes on them live.
It got rescheduled. It got rescheduled to Wednesday, too.
Oh, it got rescheduled to Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. That's even better for me because I had some early games tomorrow. So I won't have to hustle back now to get to it.
And who was that shoe? Who was that shoes you said?
I was saying Gulfport, and the Gulfport's been really good. They'll be down here this week to play at MRA. So I was saying I really was interested in going over there to watch them. I can't, if I'm gonna talk about teams that have been impressive, I've got to mention Olive Branch for what they've, with them beating Tupelo and Raymond last week. They've really kind of solidified themselves right there at the top of the rankings right now. Both of those teams have been pretty good. The rest, and they got a number of teams that are looking good. That just, everybody beating up on everybody.
Yeah, like we had mentioned that earlier, Olive Branch, and maybe you guys can help me. They have a three-headed monster, three guards. I remember Gutierrez, Zaire, and I know obviously Jalen Tyler. Who's the other kid that they have that's pretty good that puts up numbers?
The Hunt kid, they started a kid named Hunt. He actually started last year and is back. They started two sophomore guards last year. I can't remember Hunt's first name, but Hunt is is a starter. And then they got a sophomore named, is it Garrison Matthews? That I know it's Matthews, I think, that's starting. It's about 6 through 2 or 3. They're guard heavy.
Talante, we can't hear you if you're talking, Talante. Your volume is not up. We can't hear you. You go ahead and say something. We see you. Can't hear you.
Yeah, we see your mouth move, Talante, but we you off mute though. You might have to join and rejoin.
No, you're muted. It's showing mute.
Unmute your stuff. I have to do that myself.
He gonna rejoin.
Yeah.
But they've been, they're guard heavy, but they've been really good so far. Over 2 big wins just last week, and even early last week, and especially with Raymond, doing what they did after they beat them. They beat the next day. They beat Houston, and they came down here and beat Starkville. So Raymond had a big week. He put the loss to Olive Branch.
Yeah, we talked about that too, Raymond. I think getting EJ back really helped them, even though EJ, we talked about Larry Lee and what an unsung hero he is, and
but
even though we can't hear you.
I got to take that. Where am I going?
We hear you, but now we see you. Yeah.
Okay, well, I got a call. I had to decline.
I can hear you
Oh, yeah,
now.
you good. You
I'm
good.
in there.
You good now.
There we go. There we go.
Number 5, the shooter from him. He's the one that gets it done. He's the one that's good. As they, with he and EJ, they should have a two-headed, a really good two-man scoring threat. Now that EJ is back, 'cause number 5, the little guard, I can't call his name, but he's been good for him.
Is it
He's been
Jackson?
really
I've been
good.
seeing
Kamarius Lewis. I think we talked about him. He was the MVP. He had
Yeah, I think so. He's
18.
been,
Hey, shoes. I see that jacket, man. Let me hold some. I know you've been getting that.
you know where I'm coming from, huh? Around here they don't pay us on those spots.
Oh man, but yeah, man.
Who's that guard? Talante Olive Branch.
You talking about the sophomore?
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about Caleb Hunt? Caleb Hunt is the other junior. So you got
Junior. That's what I said. They got the guy Hunt, and then they got the kid. Is it Matthews? Is the sophomore?
Nah, it's
Garrison
Reese. Garrison Reese.
Garrison Reese. Okay, I was saying Garrison Matthews. Garrison Reese.
Yeah.
Garrison Reese. They've been playing pretty good. They got a lot of guys. I can't even think of the other guy name. The other little guy that can hit the shots. Guy, I got to go find his name.
Number 5, was he the one who was killing in your deal? He got a little funny looking body.
Hey, he got killing.
Yeah. He got some swagger in his game. Yes, sir. A little swagger.
But yeah, I definitely think I know coming in Olive Branch, I'll be talking to the parents and the coaches. They didn't think people were gonna get them, credit. But they came in and earned it, man. They beating guys. They don't really have no bigs, but the guards they got, I put them up there over a lot of guys. They can hoop. They come in, they're gonna shoot the ball well. I think Jake Tyler, he doing what he always do. Caleb Hunt playing great defensively. And Gutierrez has been playing really, really well. Even since my camp, and
Since the camp, we've been rolling.
Yeah, he been on it. So I mean, they started off hot. I know we got a long season left, but they're gonna be tough to deal with. In that 6A, and it's a number of 6A teams. You still got Starkville is gonna be good. Still want to get to the finish line. Gulfport, I've been seeing Gulfport highlights on YouTube and everything. They look good. They got some bigs. I know they got the kid. Georgia look good. The Twins look good, and of course you got the guards Matthews and Rauf. So they look good, man. They look good as well. Biloxi look they look good too. I only seen highlights of them well.
Now let me ask you this, Shoes and Talante, what do you guys think? You got to throw. I tell you, a team we ain't talked a lot about. We mentioned it in Snacks did today. Horn Lake with the Twins.
I haven't seen them.
I saw them Saturday, man. They look good Saturday.
They beat Northwest ranking 71-56. That's a big win.
That's a big win coming down here. Northwest ranking is struggling a little bit, but that still was a really good win. They still a dangerous team. Got a lot of veteran guards, and, got a 3-headed monster out there. So that was a really, really good win for Horn. First time I've seen it. I plan on being at the trail.
Breaking up.
On them again.
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all somebody else that's good we haven't talked about. Pontotoc looked really good as well. They got three good seniors. Tyler Shepard. I know y'all probably don't know too much about him, but he looked great. I ain't gonna lie, he really looked like a top 10 senior in that class. But he killed.
Shepard got a 40-point game this year.
Nah, he killing. No, I seen
he
it.
got a 40-point game.
He looked good, man. I had seen the other week versus Columbus. He looked really, really good. He definitely looked like top 10 guy in this class. I'm not even.
Say Gavin Shannon been playing. Gavin Shannon been playing pretty well too.
Gavin been killing, man. Like them guys, they look real good. I mean, you know what I'm saying. I know it's senior year, so they not leaving no screw unturned. They doing what they need to do.
And Demetrius from Sotillo too.
You talking about Duffy, the sophomore?
Yeah.
I haven't seen them play, but I know he one of the better bigs in the state already as a sophomore. So
has Duffy been putting up pretty strong numbers this year?
I know he had 28 one game. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen them play yet either. I'll probably get to see them in the coming weeks.
I just got a guy on the live chat said a kid that we need to look out. He has multiple 40-point games. A kid, Kenton McNeil from Greenville High School. So definitely want to, go try to take a look and see,
Hey, that's your area, ain't it?
yeah, well, to get,
You backyard, EV.
well, hey, I got to go check him out,
Greenville has a pair of guards that are pretty good. That name. They have a freshman. They have a freshman, a youngster. I know I think he's a sophomore. Freshman, sophomore been tweeting me, and I've been checking. I made some calls, and he's pretty good. And then they have a senior
You
guard.
talking about Gibb? You talking about Gibson?
Gibson that played with you all?
Yeah.
Yeah, he be the Gibson kid. And McNeil must be the senior guard because I talked to someone over there and told me they had a senior guard that's pretty good also. They said that, yeah, so Gibson's been tweeting at me, want me to come see him. So I told him I was going to try to get in and see Greenville sometime. But then when talking and making some calls, I heard him, I found out they got a senior guard that's pretty good. So that must be the senior guard that's pretty good that's at Greenville.
Yeah, well, that, if you talk about 140-point game, but if you have multiple, now you're talking about you putting up some numbers,
You are.
Hey. And so I want to get back to a name that y'all mentioned who has been, I think he has, we always knew he was talented, but he hadn't lived up to be honest, the hype that we put him on. But he has started to do it this year, no doubt, and that is Gavin Shannon. So, Gavin, I really thought when I saw him play, the first time I saw him play was against Devin Reed, and I thought he was an easy high major kid, and he didn't live up to the, like, to be honest with you, he was up and down, but he's looking like a kid now at 6'6", 6'7", depending on what night, how his hair is flopping that night. He could, I'm not tripping for Mississippi State. Easily Southern Miss, people like that. To me, they should be all over the kid. He's athletic.
He's having a big year. He's been consistently better, a little bit better than Landon. Landon's had London's had some good games, but I think Gavin has had more and been a little more consistent during the season. He's been lighting it up pretty good during the season so far.
I agree. I'm in total agree. Yeah.
CU as a Sun Belt team. CU as a Sun Belt teams ought to be in there checking him out at least.
You got Sun Belt, Southland, Big South. I think any, you know what I'm saying? Even the A-Sun, I think any of them guys can come in and get on Gavin. I mean, he look good.
The swag too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they ought to be on it. They ought to make that know.
And like I said, like if Ole Miss or Mississippi State came in late, the way he's playing, I think we all can agree nobody's tripping on that. Nobody's saying like,
I wouldn't.
I'm gonna be honest. I think, and I know Southern been playing really well this year. I think he'll be good at Southern. That
Southern Miss, no question. Yeah. Jay Ladner has done a phenomenal job this year, and let's face it, as they say, he was on the proverbial hot seat, and man, they got him started out 7-0. Got the kid Austin Crowley who transferred.
Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. Coach Nick Williams, man, who came from Northwest, he been turning up guys up down there, man. He got guys playing. They really want to play for them guys down there now, so they look really good.
Awesome.
They look good.
Yeah, that's
How long is what's the kid name? The kid from Columbus. How long is he gonna be there? He still got another year after this year.
Which one?
The kid from Columbus that played with Woodard.
Robert Woodard. Played with Woodard.
Dang, I was just looking at him today. He's actually playing pretty well for him. The one he went to Southwest.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, and matter of fact, he was gonna leave and go to Jackson State, and he ended up staying there. I know exactly. He's about 6'6", played the point for Carlisle at Columbus, a really good player.
He's having a good season. He's really playing well for him.
Yeah.
He's really playing. They started him, and he's been playing well.
I can't think of his name either. I'm looking.
It's gonna come to me when I'm not trying to think of it. I just was looking at it this evening, looking at their stats this evening.
Yeah. So
DJ, oh, dang, what's his name?
I know he's got a funny, it's DJ, so I'm gonna look at it right now.
Yeah.
But I tell you another kid, who else on Saturday shoes played well for you at Lamont deal?
Well, I only was at a couple of games. I had my, I was Grant's babysitting this weekend, so I didn't get near the Horn Lake, and I left after Raymond. So,
And his name is Denjay Harris.
Denjay Harris, yeah.
Denjay Harris.
Yeah. He's been playing well. So I didn't see a lot of the other games. So those were only two I really can speak on. I know that the kid from St. Joe had a pretty big game on, not St. Joe, St. Andrews had a big game on Murr that morning, I think. The JC Cook kid.
I didn't get a chance to see that game.
I think the JC Cook kid had a big game on Murr that morning.
Yeah, I can't remember how many. Was it 32? I
32,
remember the
I
tag.
think.
I
I think there was a tweet out there. This coach tweeted out there that he had 32 on him.
Yeah.
How many?
Murr's just so depleted right now, kind of depleted.
Yeah,
there is just getting back, and without the other kid.
Booth.
Booth.
Booth is the one that them losing Booth, that really knocked them out of their route. Now they're just kind of in, it's kind of almost like they just one of those teams because Javian Cooper and Katerius could both, they could both score 35 on a given night and maybe beat you themselves, but they just kind of in upset mode right now.
Yeah.
With the other
let me ask you, how Provine looking right now? I know we had them like a top, 5-18. What they looking like?
They've been playing good. They've lost a couple of games, but they've won some games against some teams that were pretty good. So they've been solid. They've been good. Their losses are to Jesus City, and who beat them the first time, that first game? Trying to remember who else beat them.
They only lost to Jesus City and Terry.
Yeah, Terry. Yazoo and Terry, but they got the wins over Ocean Springs, and they
just beat Holmes County Central. They beat Holmes County Central Saturday.
Was it Saturday, Monday?
Yep, and they beat Clinton. They beat Clinton too.
They did.
And that's a good win. We were just talking.
They've been good. They got that win over Ken. That win over Ken was a good win for them also.
Yeah. The thing about Provine, they only have, and I say only, they got 6 legit players. They're not, after that 6, it's a big drop off. But let's face it, if you can win with 6 guys.
You win with 6 guys.
Yeah.
The big guy he brings in, I would count him as 7. Sometimes he gives them some good minutes.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Shoes.
Yeah.
We were talking about, what was the kid's name, number 22 Snacks, that you said we call him our unsung hero. He was pretty.
Jamal.
Yeah.
That's a big kid. He comes in, he gives him kind of a 7th body.
Who you talking about, Jamal from Provine?
Yeah, he's a long athletic.
I know him. Yeah.
He's really good one. Obviously, you got Amaje, you got Javian, you got Quez, and you got Ty Goler. Sometimes Ty Goler can go undervalued. He's about 6'4". Ty Goler. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I really like Ty Goler a lot. I think that he's a kid. He get in the right system next year in college.
I think he gets. He'll probably. I think he could.
Yeah, because
he's a kid that have a low major bid on him. If a low mid bid on him, it wouldn't be. I wouldn't have my mouth open. I wouldn't be like you just said about if Mississippi State bid on Gavin. If a low mid to low major bid on him, I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's talented enough to play there, to go somewhere and play.
Yeah, he's a kid. Yeah, he definitely. I think he's that type of guy. He could shock some people down the way. I had invited your man Kevin Cole down on the coast. I was trying to get him on, but
hey, hold on. I just looked at some shoes. I got one question. There's no way you move Tupelo to number 10.
I mean, everybody else was.
Oh man, come
everybody
on.
else was doing playing well. They lost 3 in a row.
No.
I'm sure they worked their way back up.
Shoot, what you doing? What you on, Shoot? What you on?
Hey, look, shoot. I
Tupelo
know I've been
ain't
tripping.
in no way they should be 10.
I've been tripping,
They
but
worked
I'm
their way
gonna
back up.
put one out too. Come on, shoes.
Hey, you got. Hey,
Where Horn Lake at on that list? Where Horn
they
Lake
lost
at?
3 in a row.
Dude, we got a legit question.
Where's 4 and 3? They 4 and 3 with
Where-
lost 3 in a row.
Where's Horn Lake?
Where's Horn Lake, Shoes?
They're not quite in there yet.
I
Ooh.
don't think there's no sir. Horn Lake is legit.
Ooh.
Horn Lake is
Shoot.
legit.
We got to get Horn Lake in it.
Their team is in consideration if somebody else stumbles.
Hey, let me ask you.
I'm gonna be honest. I
That's
don't think nobody in the state want to see Horn Lake just like if we gotta play Horn Lake, you in trouble. You gotta play them.
Hey, do they play Olive Branch? Because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, they play Olive Branch. They coming up.
Cord, do you think they top 5 in the state?
I ain't gonna say because I don't know all the boy teams closely, but I'm telling you, they got that 6'3" kid. Horn Lake got a 6'3" kid, a twin named Demp. Purnell, something like that, got a twin. They ain't a real
We
deal.
know about the twins. Yeah, we talk. I definitely think like they gotta be. I would put them in the top 10.
They got a big that play football. Legit, I'm talking about Draymond Green footwear. I'm talking about Nash. I'm telling you. I know the point. I think the point guard went out with a knee injury, but
Yeah,
I heard he was their best player.
Man, I'm
point guard was their best player.
Horn Lake look good to me. I know I don't follow boys basketball a lot, but just looking at it from basketball eye, and they pushed Tupelo to the limit last year. I'm telling you right now, they're a different team under Chico. Yeah, they look really good.
Talante, do they make your top 10, Talante Horn Lake?
Oh yeah. I think I had them in the top 25 somewhere like a month ago, like 15 or something like that. So yeah, they've been winning. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just depends on who you like. I mean, if they can get in there and sneak out a branch or somebody, you know what I'm saying? Hey, they definitely.
So where was Northwest
Olive Branch? You got
Northwest ranking?
Northwest ranking was a good win, but it's not the win. It doesn't carry the weight this year that it would have carried last year.
Who else did they beat?
They need to knock somebody off.
Yeah,
They beat a pretty good Center Hill team. They beat a pretty decent DeSoto Central team.
Nah, man, them don't count. Bro.
I know, but I'm saying they beat them handily though. They're like they didn't happen a year ago. That's what I'm saying.
Them ain't top 25 teams, man.
If they beat Olive Branch, do you put them like? Because here's the thing, Shoes. Because you started this precedent. I didn't know Tupelo had lost 3 games, even though I don't know if I drop them to 10 either way because they have a pretty good schedule. But
yeah, they got a strong schedule.
But I will say this, Shoes. In all fairness, and that's why I love Lavelle Shoes Johnson. He gonna do what he want to do. If Horn Lake beats Olive Branch, do you move them all the way up to top 3?
They go
top 5.
Top 5, maybe.
That depends. It would definitely propel them into the rankings. I mean, that's farther down the line in the season. By the way, so by then. They'll either work their way in and show us that they should be in there, but they're not, I mean, I actually didn't drop anyone out this week that was in last week. I just reshuffled a lot of teams. I mean, Terry is my 15th team, and they've had some good wins, so I didn't move them out. Horn Lake probably my next team on the outside, right there on the outside looking in. I had them like that last week, when they were last week when they were 5-0. They get consideration, and I watched them this week. They did look good, but like I say, that win over Northwest ranking wasn't enough to propel them in over anybody I had in at this point.
Now Northwest ranking.
I understand that.
Hold on, wait. Shoes. Pascagoula number 4.
They played that well so far. They played pretty well. Hey, sometimes you slide them and let them work themselves out, Delonte.
You remember you had that number 1 last year.
They got a close loss at Gulfport. They had a down to the wire loss at Gulfport. They only got 1 loss. That's their only loss. At Gulfport, that one went to the wire. You know,
Hey, I
they
want
had
to
a
make
good
I
win.
want to
They
make
had
a
a good
statement
win
about
up
the
here over
team that.
Kansas City. Huh?
Hey, what's it called? By the time midseason get here too, we got to account for Canton now. They ain't just bound down. They gonna be in the mix too.
I ain't heard nothing about them too much this year. I be seeing them tag us on who they beat so far.
They beat. I
Like
don't know their schedule to the T, but they don't have. I know they had some injuries. That's why I said about midseason.
They haven't played in the top teams yet.
Well,
they played Provine, but they had their players out against Provine.
Close out to Provine.
Provine beat them.
Lost to Provine.
Yeah, they had like 3 guys out against Provine.
Okay.
More. I'm not sure who they beat. I know they played some teams. I can't remember who they beat. I know they beat Forest Hill to start the season, which is a solid but not great win. But we were expecting them to be pretty good, and they've been solid so far. So they've kind of been slotted in there just till they play themselves out. They're down there near the bottom of the top 15 right now. On my top 15. So
Now, is Northwest ranking still in your top 15?
Nah. Northwest ranking has been in. They were in the top 15 and they fell out for the first ranking.
Oh, wow. Okay. I got to go back and take a look at it. Talante, you looking at it? Are you looking at it right now, Talante?
Hold on. I'm finna pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up and read it to us so we can, as we get joined by the ball-headed wonder, Eddie Young and Cordarius Jones have popped in. Welcome to the show. We'll be getting with you guys a little earlier. I mean, here shortly to talk about a few girls. But
here we go. Here go. Shoes top 15. Here we go.
Shoes top 15.
Olive Branch 1.
Mississippi Hoop Report. Power.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mississippi Hoop Report. There you go. Okay.
Power 15.
Put some respect on it, man.
15. I just want to characterize properly. That's all. Yeah, I just want to characterize properly so people know where to go look for it.
No.
That's right. I got it.
Hey, here we go. We got
Talante got his SSP right behind him, all in our face. He got him a big boy with a cutout.
Yeah.
All in our face. So characterize mine right.
That's
Mississippi Hoop Report. Hey, here we go. We got Olive Branch at 1, Gulfport at 2, Meridian at 3, Pascagoula 4, Starkville 5, 6 MRA, 7 Biloxi, 8 Raymond, 9 Pontotoc, 10 Tupelo, 11 Vicksburg, Yazoo City at 12, Provine at 13, Canton at 14, and Terry at 15. Hey, how Vicksburg been looking? I've been hearing about them. I haven't seen them.
They 7-8-0, and they've been playing well. They look good last week. When I saw them against Jefferson County, they blew them out. But I mean, they shoot. They guard heavy. They remind you all of Branch guard heavy, but they shoot it. They got 2 guards. The Williams kid and the
Malik Franklin, one of the best shooters in the state.
Malik Franklin is one of the most recruited JUCO players in the state. But when being recruited by most of the JUCOs in the area in the South. I mean, they pretty good. They look good. I'm not. They don't have a great marquee win yet. So they just kind of moved up by attrition. They've handled their business. You
got to give them credit, Shoes, in losing a top 15 kid to Fort Gibson. For them to continue to be 8-0, like that says a lot about the coach over there. That's not. I think Julius Williams is the assistant, right?
The Julius assistant. Kevin Carter.
And it's Coach Carter.
Coach Carter, phenomenal job that he's doing over at Vicksburg. That's a big time. That's a big time start for him. Again, losing
the two teams that are on my real watch list that I'm most interested in keeping an eye on and seeing how they progress are Pontotoc and Vicksburg. They both are, guard heavy, guards who can score the ball. They both are undefeated. They've been looking, beating people handily and beating people pretty good. And I just, I want to see if they maintain. I really want to see if those two maintain.
Hold on, I got another. I think New Hope they definitely a top 15 team. New Hope is. I know you ain't got to see them yet.
Yeah.
But they pretty good. They still pretty strong. They should be there.
Who did they lose in your event to though?
Olive Branch.
Oh, it was Olive
And
Branch.
that was their first game. So that's tough out.
Delonte, how good has Boomer been?
I haven't seen them. They probably
lost their first game to Center Hill, I think, but they've run off about 4 or 5 since then.
Yeah, they haven't really played a strong schedule yet. So until they play somebody, I gotta look at their schedule, see what they play. Neshoba Central was a solid win. Neshoba Central.
Yeah, they beat Neshoba Central handily.
Yeah, they not bad. Neshoba pretty solid.
Solid. So they beat Neshoba pretty handily. I thought that was a good win for them.
Nah, that's a good win.
Look, hey man, I was trying to do I do the Power 15, the small school Super 7. Man, ain't many small schools with really good records. I said I'm about to wait the football season over to try and some of these jokes get all their players back to find out who's good.
Yeah, everybody's still waiting on them football guys, man. So you know how that
small
goes.
School.
You might not be able to rank until December.
I swear. I gotta wait till everybody get their guys back and see who actually start winning some games. Because if you look down in 2A and 1A and 3A, 2A and 1A, it's not a lot of glamorous records out there.
Nah, they ain't great.
They've been beating up on each other up and down. Nobody's jumping out at you.
Yeah.
Boonville is gonna still be up there by attrition because they've run off all those wins. St. Patrick has got a couple losses, but they've left their losses. And the thing about them is all their losses are to like 5 and 6-18, 5 and 6-18. So you kind of, when you start breaking the small school, you kind of gotta throw them with losses out.
Right. Look. They got their swag schedule at the beginning. They go play them big schools for that money.
I know this a team that we didn't talk about in 6A though, but I know they got one of their football players back. This is a very important piece of their team. Madison Central got Isaiah Spencer back.
And he makes all the difference in the world for them.
Yeah.
That's amazing because when you look at Madison Central, I saw him play this summer. When you look at Isaiah Spencer, who's only 6'1", 6'2", not, football obviously is his best sport, but the energy and the athleticism he brings does take them to another level. That's very interesting.
Their win, first game, their win over Holmes County last Monday, he was all over there.
Hey,
he gave them a lot of points around the goal on offensive putbacks and things like that I'd watched them a couple of times already that they didn't get before he got there. Who's gonna do some of the dirty work.
Who they had to move to the bench? Because I thought they had some young guys. They had all the young guys playing, right?
No, they were on the start. They actually had the only young guy really playing was starting was, let me see, they were starting Rowe. They got the senior guard, the senior guard that came over from St. Joe last year. As a senior, and he started all last year.
What about JP? JP don't start.
No, JP did not start. He didn't start when I saw him. He played quite a bit though. He's been playing off the bench some for him, but he rolls on youngsters that really start.
You talking about the other kids? You talking about Jordan Archer?
Yeah, Jordan Archer started. I don't know the other kid's name. Kind of got the fro, long and kind of wiry, but he about maybe 6'1" or 2", kind of a guard. They were starting him. He may be the one that they took out the lineup. Because they were starting Bernini and they had the 2 white kids starting Bernini, and I can't think of the other one's name.
And I know they just got Big Michael back too.
Yeah, Michael came back. He played in that game because he's a football player. So I mean, they got 2 football players that should be, pretty good. Get pretty good part of the rotation for him. Michael gives them another big guy. Because they really didn't really have a big guy before because the guys, Bernini and other guys, they got a little size. They got 6'5", but they're more face-up forward type guys. You know, they're shooters. They're not bangers.
Well,
Yeah.
let's shift over. We got real quick. We'll come back to the boys to kind of finish up, but I want to bring in Eddie Young with Mississippi Play Sports. Eddie, you know, you had your top 15 list. Can you take a look at that and let us know who your run over, you know, since we already had Mississippi Hoop Report top 15 on the boys. Can you tell us who your top 15 on the girls side is? And then let's begin to talk about those.
Well, how y'all doing, fellas? Well, you know, obviously everybody's number one is Tupelo. Got a chance to see them via. I hear something in the background. I don't know if that's you guys or me or what.
That might be, you just turn to the side. That might be shoes.
No, that was my bad, guy.
Okay. Corey, are you there, Corey?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can just talk about Tupelo. I know Cord, you know, get a chance to follow them. He sent me the link the other night for the event, and I got a chance to see them. And man, I tell you what, they as good as advertised to me. They got so many ways they can beat you. It's gonna be really scary. I don't know if they're gonna get Lamira Cleaves back this season or not. Cord, are they supposed to get her back into this year? I'm not sure. To be honest with you,
no, I heard that she's done for the year.
She's done for the year. They'd be really scared if they had her, just to have another inside presence. Because Riley kind of playing like the 3-4, and then of course you got Rucker having to play a lot of 4 or 5, so it takes her out of her natural position. But Cleve's more of a banger inside. But man, they look really good. I got a chance to see the Louisville game. I know Corey watched it too, and Louisville kind of hung around a little bit. They couldn't make no shots, and Nia Hunter struggled, had a bad game. But man, they can beat you in so many ways. And Nadia Norfleet to me is just a difference maker. I think she just takes them to a whole nother level. I mean, when she's in the game, she just give them that extra You know, she can get any shot she want, can get to her spot. So of course I had them number one. Cord, you want to touch on Tupelo?
Yeah, I just piggyback with what you said, Eddie. I mean, Nadia Norfleet, I've been saying it for years, so I can pat myself on the back. She's the real deal. I think she's really a really effective scorer for them, especially playing the point a lot. And I know Audrey Houston, she does some great things at the point too, but Nadia Norfleet really is looking really good early in the season, and I'm just happy to see that. I mean, Tupelo, what we thought they were going to be. They loaded, they 12 deep, literally. They played like 13 people, so they just really good, man. They drowned Louisville out bad.
And
Yeah.
I talked to a college coach, and they said they would be shocked if Tupelo lost. They would really be shocked if Tupelo lost. So, you know, I know Tupelo will be on, and they hear. I still, you know, I think that there's no question that talent-wise, you know, 1 through 12, they there's no question they're the deepest team in the state. You know,
But
probably
see, I think, and I want to ask
boys
a
or
couple of
girls.
these veteran guys on the along with Eddie and Evie. I want to ask some of the other guys. How do y'all feel about having a 10-man team deep as that? Do you think a 10-man team can take you far? Because a lot of people debate against that, talking about you need to have a set 7 and this and that. But I say if you got a strong 10 and they rolling, they just rolling.
I'm gonna let me answer that before Shoes them jump in. To me, I think that's what makes them unique is because if Michaela Riley or Audrey Houston have an off night, then you got Rucker and you got Nadia Norfleet, and I mean they can beat you so many ways. The other night, Rucker didn't have a really good game. She was solid, but she wasn't jade like what we normally see. And so, man, I mean, it's a situation to where Michaela and Audrey Houston have kind of figured it out, and they're working really well together. I'm be honest with you, man. You got 11 or 12. even if you get in foul trouble, like a lot of these teams, like I told you, what really scares me about Germantown is, God forbid, Madison Booker get in foul trouble. I just don't trust these. Some, in the north and south half, when you go on the road, some of these referees will call these tic-tac fouls, and Booker like to reach a lot and stuff. And so I just don't. If she has to go out in foul trouble, but it's a situation if Tupelo lose, their whole starting five can be in foul trouble. And hell, their second team is
And I'm
just
gonna
as
tell you
good
who
as anybody
effective
first
too.
five.
I'm gonna tell you who effective don't get no love. Janae McAllister is effective in that second group. She running the
Playing
floor,
with a
setting
chip.
screens.
Yeah,
She playing. She probably one of the
playing
best
with a chip on
offensive
her shoulder
rebounders
too. Yeah,
in the
she
state.
playing with
Like
a chip.
she.
But
Well, let me ask you
her
this, Shoes, go ahead, and Eddie
yeah.
gave his thought on it, and Court wanted to hear from you. What's your thoughts on that when you
I
have a
mean,
team
I don't
that
think
has
there's anything wrong with having a 10, 11 man rotation if they are all capable of, holding their own, and
Exactly.
and if you as a coach have the rotation figured out, which you got half the season to do, if those girls are good enough to earn that time, I mean, and as a coach, you can figure out how you're gonna rotate them, and then of course the key is getting the girls to buy into the rotation. If you, and you can get them all to buy in, hey, have at it, man. Like Eddie said, you got less worries about foul trouble. You're gonna wear people down because you got so much more depth. I mean,
I'll be preaching really defend.
Yeah.
We ain't worried about nothing. We trying to win a ship.
Yeah,
Defend.
that's what
there's nothing wrong with that. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as the saying goes. And people who tend to think in a box, people tend to like to think in a box, but there's always exception to every rule, and they can people can, good coaches and teams with, I've seen teams that play with a lot of players and use 10 and 11 man lineups, played 2 lineups, and they were very successful. So no, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If they got that kind of talent and depth, more power to them, and the coach for figuring out a system to let all those girls play and shine.
I tell you, Shoes, one reason they
I
gonna
agree.
play a lot, hell, because they gonna be up 30 and 40 on a lot of people.
Yeah,
So it's easy to play. It's easy to play a lot of folks when you up 30 and 40.
Yep.
And
they're gonna be up a lot of 30-point games. I can see
lot of 30 and 40.
And I would say another thing too, you don't want to sit a kid that's like a joint or a sophomore that's really good, like a D1 caliber sophomore. You can't really just sit that kid and say, hey, we're gonna waste your year because we're gonna tighten it up 7 or 8 man. If they able to get out there and produce, let them produce. Because let's be honest.
I know Matt Justice has had a lot of pressure from a lot of people about this particular team because this is supposed to be his year. But I will say this, it looks like he's doing a really good job of getting those kids. And it's hard to satisfy 11 or 12 players, but it seems like he's doing a really good job so far this year. So kudos to Matt Justice, man, and Tupelo coaching staff. 2 other teams, I owe a big apology to Choctaw Central, the legendary coach up at Choctaw Central, man, and Coach Faulkner at Meridian. Shoes, I didn't have either one of them in my top 10. Of course, they got the rich tradition. They lost a lot. Meridian lost 2 Division I players, Charity Henry, who's at Mississippi Valley State, and then the great Dupree Chapeau up there at Mississippi State. Man, I just don't know. I've seen Faulkner players. Like, I know she got a lot of young kids that we've seen. I mean, they're really scrappy. But man, it's amazing that she's winning and doing what she's doing. And also, shout out to Coach at Choctaw Central, Coach Bill. Year in and year out, I mean, you just can't count them out. So there are 2 teams in the top 10 now that wasn't in my top 10 because, again, man, they just continue to win, regardless of who their roster is. It's amazing that they can just continue to. I mean, that's a testament to them as coaches. So I can't bet against them.
I saw Meridian girls play when they were at Terry about 2 weeks ago. I was out there with the game, and they didn't look like they really missing a beat. Of course, they're not as explosive as they were last year, but they still are so solid, and they running the stuff. They playing their system, running the system. They got girls that can put the ball in the hole. they looked really good that night. And I was like, you know, they don't look like they lost. I'm gonna say they didn't miss a beat, but they, you know, they look like they're not rebuilding, they reloading.
Well, I'll say this about Coach Faulkner. She's no question. I've coached at the Division I level on the girls' side, and she's a college level coach. To be honest with you, I've watched her. She's one of the top coaches in the state of Mississippi, probably one of the top in the country. And I watched her last year, and as I was going to recruit charity for Mississippi Valley State. And the one thing that I was so impressed with them, she can do a clinic on getting her girls to talk in practice. I mean, they talk, they got a lot of energy. They're playing hard. And it wasn't a show because I was there. It was something that they do. This is what they do. I watched them warm up. They have one of the best warm-ups that I've seen. So my hat's off to Coach Faulkner. She's a high level coach, and shame on you, Eddie. That's right. Just shame on you. Just so you know, dummy. For not having for underestimating her.
This is the second year in a row I left Meridian out of my preseason rankings, boys.
Shame on you, Shoes. You know better than that.
Norman always works his way back in. Although that's the loss he took that night at Terry. But I saw why they're pretty darn good. They're a typical Ron Norman team. Just play good, solid basketball. They got a bunch of number guards that can shoot. It was a road game. They missed some shots that night. They didn't shoot it well down the stretch, but you can see that they're a typical Ron Norman team. And I missed it too.
Me think of something, Shoes. Let's switch. Let's put a pin right there, Eddie, and you can jump in. Everybody can jump in on this. Let's rank this off the top of your head, and we've already put Meridian up there. The best boy and girl coaches. So we got Meridian with Ron Norman and Coach Faulkner. I'll throw out my next throw. You know, I want to beat y'all to it. Is Kyle Hurd and what's the guy at Pontotoc, the coach Tipler, Raleigh Tipler. That's a nice 1-2 punch for boys and girls. Who are some other ones that you say, boom, that's a nice 1-2 punch? Who else would you say?
I'll go with the duo at Clinton, Pearline and
Coach Taylor.
Coach Taylor.
Who you got, Eddie? Your turn.
Man, that's a good one, man.
I got somebody else too, but I'm gonna wait.
Give me a second. Let me think on that. Just a second, man.
We just gave you a second.
Well,
I mean, what you waiting on?
I'm gonna need a few more seconds because I'm just kind of, it's been some coaching. It's been some moving around in the girls a little bit because I had a couple, but give me a second. I'll think of somebody in a minute.
I like the duo at Brandon, Coach Candace Foster and what's the guy's coach shoes at Brandon?
Coach Barnes.
Coach Barnes. That's a nice little duo.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Even though they took some L's last week, he is a 2-time state championship coach, and I gotta say we just got through talking about the job that the girls coach is doing. We gotta throw out the Tupelo pair.
No question.
Robert Green and
Tupelo. Robert Green and Matt Justice.
Yeah.
Eddie, you're on the clock, Eddie. We're waiting on you, buddy.
Hey.
I think MRA coaching staff. Obviously, you got the legend over there for the boys, but then also too, Stephen Force. Coach Force has done a great job with MRA girls the last several years too, and he's been.
So y'all just gonna do all the brands like that?
No, look, I was already thinking about them.
So y'all just gonna do all the brands.
Corey, we waiting on Corey. Jump in.
So y'all just gonna do Coach Rumbaugh and Coach Thompson. That might be the best.
The legendary.
Coach Rumbaugh had them boys going every year too, just as well as Thompson had them girls going every year. So we got to get them.
That's true.
We got to get them credit.
That was the next one I was gonna throw out.
No doubt, Corey. That's a really good one. Absolutely, that's a great pair. You could argue that might be the best pair, Olive Branch.
Yeah.
You could
With
argue
the
that.
success Rumbar is having,
Yeah.
Man, Rumbar done had some really good teams over the last 15? Like how long? She was about 12 to 15 years.
Probably close to 15. Close to 15.
Man,
he been there since they opened it. And
what'd you say?
no,
Remember, it was used to be Andy Orr. It used to be Andy
Orr.
Yeah,
it used to be Andy Orr.
Andy Orr used to be the coach.
He ain't been there that long. Orr was there when they.
But it's got to be. It's over 10. It's over 10 for sure, though. So I know it's over 10. Because it used to be Rumbar used to be the girls' coach when I was in school. He used to be the girls' coach. So
we got our guy Sam Rogers, guys, back on the live chat. He says EV about to name his top 15 gas station chicken spots.
Hey, look forward. Hey, Snacks. Every time I talk to that dude, man, that dude be ordering some chicken, man. I mean, every single time I talk to him, I guess I talk to him around lunchtime, but man, he be at that gas station eating that chicken. And
hey,
now,
man, that's Sam Rogers. We gotta get him on the show one day. That man,
we got to get on
the show.
Man, EV Show had a spot down there in Valley when he was at Valley. He had a spot down. I forgot what the spot was.
They feeding them good at Delta right now. Mississippi Delta feeding them pretty good. So,
and congratulations, we definitely got to congratulate EV. You know what I'm saying? I know we ain't got to chance to congratulate.
We still haven't. We still under the wraps on. We ain't went public yet. So people will probably miss that. But we're gonna just let that pass.
I know I'm not on the. I know I ain't on the girl side.
You're the acting head coach of Mississippi Delta. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
How you gonna hide all that on the sideline?
He over there. He over there geeking.
Yo, how you gonna hide all that on the sideline? Everybody gonna see it now. Everybody's seen it by now. You can't keep that under wraps.
Hey, I know I ain't on the girl side of the and too familiar with like the whole girl side, but I definitely want to give. I'm a JPS product, so I definitely want to give Coach Ashley Sutton over there at Callaway her flowers. I definitely think she's doing a great job with the group of girls that she has. I think she's doing a great job. They've improved each year.
I agree.
Yes,
I agree.
Yeah.
No, she's doing a phenomenal job.
What did they play Meridian there?
They played
Meridian. They lost Meridian by 10.
Okay.
Yeah, they played Meridian.
And then they took Clinton all the way down to the wire. They were down, I think, like 17 in the third quarter and came back and took the lead and lost late.
Yeah, she bought that program along quite a ways from where it was at when she got it. She bought it. I just said a long way from where it was at when she got it.
She has Ashley Sutton and Larry Wilson are doing a phenomenal job. They did a great job at Northwest Middle School as well. And she's come to Callaway and giving them new life, as far as
the principal over there, Stacy was the head coach. She had some success over there. Now she had been had some success over there. But they just when during that transition, there was a lull in the talent. And so the young lady that now had to, kind of put her own stamp on it and build her own program up, and she's done a great job. I don't want to make it sound like Callaway hasn't had some success in the past.
Yeah, because Stacy did take him to a state championship game, didn't she?
Yeah, I think she did.
Now, is Stacy the new principal at Callaway?
Yeah, she's one of the principals over there. Yeah, she's been the principal the last 2 or 3 years. She's been on.
We also got to. I know our JPS teams ain't just the horses are all the the rankings, of course, but definitely want to give a shout out to Coach Ross over at Lanier. I mean Coach Ross at Murrah, I'm sorry, and Coach James over at Lanier. Definitely want to give them credit too, though. They always do a great job with what they have.
Yep, no doubt. Hey, look, I do want to give a couple of shouts out to some girls that committed to college. First of all, the great Tamika Reed just got the number 3 ranked player in the state of Mississippi according to the Geeker Report. player ranking. She would have been number 3 in my rankings, been a number 2 player for the past several years. 6'2" small forward slash, why we call her combo 4. She gonna be a stretch 4. So Coach Reed, shout out to Coach Reed for always supporting the Mississippi programs and supporting the Mississippi kids. She's shown that she can win on the national level with 80% Mississippi kids, because they always say we don't have crap in Mississippi, but she's proven that she's doing some great things. So shout out to Caitlin Brinkley. I think she's gonna do well for Tamika Reed. Also, too, we just had the Gates sisters commit to Mississippi College from Brookhaven Academy. Emma and Lilla Gates, the twins, also committed. Let's see, Kahoma got a big time commitment from Kayla Myers from Velma Jackson. Who else is committed? Let's see, the Dandy Dozen, Layla Carter, and we know we don't have. I mean, Dandy Dozen is just about extent, but last year's Dandy Dozen. Let me clear that up. Layla Carter committed to Southern Arkansas. We've had
the Odell sisters,
and
Kennedy Davis.
That's right, Evie. They committed to Chipola. They're ranked number 3 right now in the NJCAA, the JUCO rankings right now. So
you got MK Buchanan signed to the state.
Okay.
Tyler Payne signed to Arkansas Monticello. India Bourne signed to Southeast Missouri State, Division I school out there in that OVC conference.
What's the other girl, Corp, that signed Mississippi College too?
Bradley Cherry signed to Mississippi College as well, or committed rather.
And then you have 3 huge signings from in-state kids from Jones Community College. You have Melanie Timms, the former Jackson State commit, is going to Mississippi State to be a Bulldog, along with Carly Keats is going to be an Arkansas Razorback. And then Ariana Patton, who also played at Meridian on that team with Faulkner and Debrisha Poe, is going to Southeastern Louisiana. So those are
Mackenzie Thomas going to UTEP.
Mackenzie Thomas going to UTEP, and then you got Sassy going to Southeastern too. Sassy played in my AAU program. She's from Louisiana, but she played at Jones too, so she's going to Southeastern Louisiana with AP. So yeah, I mean, shout out to Jones JUCO too, being
just stupid loaded.
Tierra Abram from Kahoma signed.
That's right, Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina.
That's right. That was a big pickup. Coach Robinson, they're doing a great job of really tapping into Mississippi, and we appreciate Coach Robertson and Coastal Carolina. Again, we love the people who reach out to us, Mississippi folks, and trying to get connected with us Mississippi folks to get these Mississippi kids, because sometimes they show more love than some of y'all schools in state. Back to our regular schedule programming. But anyway, did we lose you guys? Am I still on?
Yeah, you still on.
We all still in, man. We all still in.
All right. But yeah, I just want to do that. And then also too, EV, before I flip it back to you, it's been some really big games. I know you guys were talking about some of the boys players that had some big highlight games. Shout out to Reese Moore from Tishomingo County by way of Mississippi All In with a 41 piece a couple of weeks ago. Kayla Myers had 38 points. I guess last week, and then let's see who else had a big game. Whatcom had a couple of 30-point games from Forest Hill. What's her name? If you help me out, Kalai Stovall. And then we can't be remiss to talk about, which I'm gonna be honest with you, it's been a long time since I've seen a 7th grader be able to do what this 7th grader has done. You know, it's one thing when you pull up 7th and 8th graders in girls basketball in 1A, 2A, but it's a whole nother thing when you pull up a 7th grader that's starting and also contributing in a way that the great Carly Robinson over at Madison Central is doing right now for Coach Brown.
That was the very first game. I was down there up there at home for the first game she played, and I mean, it was first of all I saw she was starting. Oh, they starting her, but then she did a great job. I mean, just handling the ball. She belonged. They didn't rattle her. I mean, they got her playing the point. She got her playing the point and the ball is in her hand. And she is doing that. I hadn't seen her since then, but she did a great job that night. Just handling the ball, not turning over. She wasn't being as aggressive looking for a shot that night, but you know that as the season goes on, that's gonna come. But she was just trying to, do what, play a role that night. But it was amazing to see a seventh grader out there handling the ball at that level and being so, so proficient at it.
Yeah, and Carly Robinson, no question, is one of the top 28 kids in the state. You can argue. I think we have two top 28 kids. I think they're top 100 kids. I think Carly Robinson's the top 100 kid in the country, along with Reese Moore's sister, Megan Moore. I think they're going to have some huge battles over the next several years. But you're right, Eddie, for her to come in as a freshman, and I think she's had 15 in the game. It's hard for a senior to get
a couple of 15. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's had a couple of fifths. She had 16 too up in, I think, in Tennessee. And Evie, there's a couple other that we've discovered, some 2028s. We ain't gonna mention them tonight, but there's some 2028s that we done found that are really good too. So, but you're right, those two obviously are household names right now. It's a lot of talent. I'll say this. The younger talent in Mississippi, I think, is as good as it's been in quite some time. That 27, 28, 26 class has a lot of talent for sure. So it's going to be encouraging to see that for the next couple of years.
I agree with you. And I've kind of dove into, the things that you and Shoes have been doing for years with the rankings that made me think about that. And I want to say publicly to both of you, my hat's off to both of you. And, you guys have taken a lot of flack, and, sometimes we give it to you too, because at the end of the day, it's your opinion based on, obviously you guys know the game, have a feel for the game, seen a lot of people. But for those of you who want to critique and talk about it, I'd like to see you try it. I mean, because I'm telling you, I had some things change in my life. And so it's kind of taking me a little time to do it. But you go out and try to rank 90 kids in a 23 class, or you try to rank 60 in a 24 class. And Shoes, he don't even try to rank that many kids. I think, Shoes, what is your most you do? 50?
I've had some seasons that got up in the 60s and 70s late in the year.
And that's tough. And, and the good thing is, I don't do it all by myself. I lean on guys like Cordarius and Eddie and high school coaches around the state, also college coaches, and people have seen them. Now the kids that I've seen, I trust my own eyes with against anybody. But the things that it is a challenging thing. And the one thing I want to say, when we put those out, this is not a thing where we're hating on anybody. Like, I'll give you an example. There's a kid from St. Joe in the 2024 class. I think her name is Maya Allen. I just missed her. I didn't see her. And I put out right away when I saw her highlight, because I remember watching her one day recently, and I said, man, she slipped my mind. She's an easy top 60 kid. I forgot to put her, I just forgot to put her in. I just saw a kid the other day from Raymond, happened to know her brothers, the former Dandy Dozen from Raymond last year, Robinson, and her older brother, Jacob. Her name is Julia Robinson.
Yeah, Julia
Robinson is no question, from what I saw the other day, a top 60 kid. So a parent inboxed me, and I hadn't seen her child. I think her name is Gracie Corley. From North Panola. She's a top 90 kid, easy in the top in the 2023. So we miss kids. They're just kids, some kids that we don't see. There's, you're talking about, there's 700, anywhere from 700 to 1,000 kids per class in the state. And if if those numbers are inflated, let's just drop it. There's no less than 500 in each class. So when you're talking about top 90, top 60, top 50, you're still in the top 15% of players in the state. That's a major accomplishment. It's no different than a kid is in the top 100 in ESPN. Do you know what that means? That means even if you're 93 out of hundreds of thousands of kids, you know, that's a pretty good deal. And it's what's interesting. It's funny to me, and I hear a lot of parents say, well, you know, oh man, my kid, this, that, and other. And I'm not trying to be biased because they're my kids. No, let's just be honest. We're gonna be biased with our children, or we're gonna be biased with people that we see a lot, and that's okay. But you know, we try to get it right. But it's, you know, use it as motivation. You know, that's what I look at. Because we have some really good players. You know, when you look at the boys, the 23 and the girls, I think Josh Hubbard and Madison Booker, like for example, in those classes, have separated themselves. Like there's, and you look at their offers and their commitments tell you there's a separation. We don't have another girl in Mississippi right now that's committed to Texas. We don't have another boy right now that's committed to Ole Miss, which is the, you know, a Power 5 SEC school. And so, however, and that's not us. The rankers, you know, Ole Miss and Texas did not use EVs or Eddies or shoes to make a final decision on those kids. They may have looked and said, oh, okay, there's there, but at the end of the day, they evaluated them and they agreed with us that they're pretty good players. And I think that stuff needs to be talked about and, you know, more. And, you know, again, my hat's off to Shoes and Eddie for, you know, all the work that you guys have done.
As far as I know, there are only three boys in the class that have signed or committed. That's Josh with Ole Miss, Makai Miles with Wichita State, and London Fields committed to Louisiana Lafayette right about at the start of the signing period. Those are the only three guys I know that have committed, you know, to Division I schools at this point.
And when you look at my rankings on the girls, India Boyne, who I have ranked number 2, is committed to a Division I school at SEMO. Yeah. Caitlin Brinkley, who I have ranked number 3, is committed to Jackson State, who also had a Coastal Carolina offer. India Boyne was the hottest prospect in the state in July. She had Kennesaw State, she had Cal State, Bakersfield, she had Ryder. I mean, she had all type of people, mid-majors, you know, looking at her in July. So it kind of fits. I mean, you know, you look at those the people at that high at those rankings, and again, it's not because I ranked them per se that they got those looks. That wasn't it at all. They got seen in the AAU segment, and that's where they really picked up their offers, and it kind of worked itself out. And so, to be honest with you, I don't know how. You know, I haven't. Shoes is more. I actually have been, you know, kind of. I actually look at both boys and girls, but I have been more focused on girls recently as far as players. Like, for example, in that top 90, to be honest with you, 25 through 70, you could flip a coin. I mean, it's that much parity in girls basketball.
You could pass about 15 to 25. In some instances, 11 or 12 to 25, you really could put them in a bag and shake them up and pull them out in a lot of ways. A lot of times.
Absolutely. And I think that works every year. There's some kids, you know, that you can say, EV or Eddie, Shoes, this kid, you know, and we've said that before. You know, I've talked to Eddie about it, you know, and talked to you about it. I'd be like, man, Shoes, I just don't, you know, like, I think, you know, there's kids sometimes, and then here's the thing: it's personal. It's our personal preference, and there's nothing wrong with that. You take the time. You are Mississippi Hoop Report. So even though EV likes, I'll give an example. Me and Shoes, I like Trey Alexander better than Shoes like Trey Alexander. That doesn't make EV more right than Shoes. I just like Trey Alexander more, and I think that we have to understand that, and especially us as brothers, we should be able to disagree, and disagreement shouldn't turn into dislike.
Definitely.
I just like the kid better.
I'll do this on this panel. You got Shoes, Talante, and Snacks. I don't know any other boys who could do a ranking in the state of Mississippi. And no disrespect to anybody else that may be listening to this, but I don't know of anybody. I'm not saying that there isn't on the boys' side other than Snacks, Shoes, and Talante, and probably you, EV, that could do a boys' rankings. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't think of it. Kevin Cole, I know he does his stuff on on the coast, and he's got his deal. He does a great. But what makes Shoes unique is that the man covers the entire state. So you'll get these people. How do you have this kid, or why do you got this? Well, hell, go try to rank and do what this man has done. Go try to see as many games as this man has seen. You can't do it. Like there's very few people. And what happened? The thing with Snacks is because once you're on the AAU side, you get a chance to really see all of the elite players, and Talante because of his media. So there's only a handful of guys that I know that could even do it. And on the girls side, you probably ain't got but maybe 2 or 3 people who could really do a statewide ranking. That you know what I mean? Because not many people have seen as many kids as we've seen. So, but
and that's the thing. Like I can't come in and tell Shoes. Yeah, I can tell them that a kid very, very good. I think he this and that. But at the end of the day, I don't know all the boys. I don't keep up with them in the summertime. I don't know their names. So how can I put up a real good quality debate? You know what I'm saying? You can't even put up a debate. We like me and Eddie on the group. We literally seen EV did Eddie rankings. I probably done seen 95 of them kids on every one of them rankings. Yep. You know how hard that is? Yep. Like we literally, you can say a kid, I'm like, yeah, I know what that is. And I ain't even probably never even been to a high school game to see him, but I see him in the summer, like 6 games in one day or one weekend. I done seen them play. So
yep. Some of them we coached against too. So
yeah, and this is nothing. This is nothing.
And another thing, EV, a kid that they ain't necessarily. I never coached. I just tagged. I seen the kid highlight. I think the kid real deal. I'm not gonna say the name. I tagged Division I coach under a post, and I do it all the time, and y'all know it. And me and the coach talked about the kid this morning, ready to get him on a visit. So folks just don't understand. Like it's bigger than what they think it is.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I get so many calls and text messages from kids that are not in our program that you wouldn't believe. Of course, Coach, you and EV know that. You know what I'm saying? But it's just one of those things where people do have to understand that we want what's best for these kids in Mississippi, regardless of what program you play for. Because at the end of the day, man, it's about these kids. You got a chance to give a kid an opportunity to go play at a high level, and they deserving of it. Why wouldn't you help them? Let me shout out to Trey Fort, one of the first boys players I ever coached. Since we're talking about signing, I know he signed Mississippi State last week too. So shout out to Trey Fort. Man, I know he took a little bit of a ununique path to get what he got, but man, shout out to him. He's a great kid, and I think he's gonna do really good things at Mississippi State.
And I want to shout out his dad, Jerry Fort, who, to be honest with you, whether you right or wrong, he's been a parent that, let's just face it. If you've been anywhere in the circle, he's been like talked about, vilified. He's been the problem per se. Well, shout out to him for sticking with, we need to have more problem dads like that who love their children. And even though and that's what we got to stop doing. We got to stop being negative toward people, and you haven't even had a conversation. Because I'll be honest with you, I'd heard stuff about Mr. Fort myself, and you tend, like, sometimes if you only hear one thing, you tend to lean that way. But the Bible says there's always 2 sides of a story, and so I got a chance when I was doing my prep school to meet Mr. Fort, and we had a great conversation, and I got a chance to understand from his perspective what he was doing. And at the end of the day, ultimately, man, he loved his son. That's what he did. When you break away everything that he did, the involvement, hey, I've been to the games. And can he be annoying as far as, talking during the games? Yes, he can. But what parent is it that talks? You know what I mean? But it wasn't a situation where it was annoying to the place where, man, he wasn't a bad father. And that's the thing that people need. We got to stop that narrative that sometimes we put out against you know, some of our parents. Even though I do think that,
Well,
you know,
I'm gonna speak to his character too, because I probably know him as good as anybody on this panel.
That's
And when
right.
him and I had the boys AAU team for several years, I know what he did as far as taking money out of his pocket to help not only his son but several other boys. And I know the sacrifices that he made, you know, for these kids throughout the state of Mississippi. So shout out to Jerry. People go hate, people go say stuff when they don't have a clue about what you're doing. And at the end of the day, he's a great person, a great friend to me. And I appreciate, you know, appreciate our relationship. And like I say, man, shout out to the kid to finally getting what he deserves, because I think nobody never questioned his talent. To me, I told him years ago that I prophesized that I think he a pro. Hell, at some level, I think he can be a pro. He's got that type of ability. So, so it's good to see him and stuff. So, but anyway,
I
go ahead,
want to
Shoes.
say, I want to say,
I know you want to jump in because
yeah,
everybody, because we don't I want to give Mr. Ford his due because
yeah,
he has been ragged on a lot, and so I want to get this time. And I'm glad you brought Trey up, Eddie, because you're right. Trey has taken a very unusual path. Went to prep school, signed to go to Tennessee Martin, played a year there. Didn't play much. Went to Colin, led the country in scoring. Left Colin and went to another JUCO at Howard, and Mississippi State finds him, and voila, he's at the SEC. Go ahead, Shoes.
people don't, people look at different, people look at out of the ordinary, and they always want to think that something is wrong when you don't.
yep,
Like I said
yep.
earlier, about people love to see stuff fit in a little box. Remember I made that comment earlier about how people love to see stuff fit in a box. Well, everything doesn't fit in a box. Sometimes you got to get outside that box to get where you want to get. And that's what Jerry did, and there's nothing wrong with it. He stayed true to the course. He and Trey stayed true to the course. They kept their eyes on the prize. They kept working, kept moving, and did what they did what it took to get what they wanted, where they wanted. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm like you all. I want to give them a shout out and give them their praise for sticking to their plans and sticking to their guns and working it and working the system the way they did. Sometimes everything don't fit in a box, but everybody likes to praise when stuff fits in a box, and when it gets outside that box, they want to doggone knock it. But you know, sometimes nothing wrong with people who chart their own course.
That's right. Yeah. Go ahead, Eddie.
Now, I was just gonna say, man, you know, you think about some of the things that Omar did, God rest his soul, but he was a guy who did things outside of the box and look how many kids he helped
Yeah,
throughout the years. And you know, of course, there was negative flack. You know, we live in a time in the area in our state where if you do anything that out of the ordinary, like you said, Shoes, people tend to question it, or why you doing this, or now you're doing too much, or you don't need to do this. Now it's never too much. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to do what you feel and bet on yourself. And that's what they did, man. They betted on themselves. So shout out to them, and man, much love to Trey. And I think he's gonna have a great career at Mississippi State.
And you know, one of the things as we talk about parents, now I want to flip, like I want to just now flip the script. You know, one of the things that you said, Eddie and Cord, and you know, we got you know, like Snacks and Talante and Shoes. Understand this, whether, and this is a message to parents, this is a message to AAU coaches, this is a message to high school coaches, this is a message to all the haters, because there's haters, you know, that that say things about myself, say things about Eddie, say things about Shoes, Snacks, and Cord, and others, when you really shouldn't. Like, that's not something that we should be doing. And I'll be honest with you, it some of the things, and one of the things I won't do, because I'm not gonna call any names, I'm not gonna go back and forth with these social media, because on a social media platform, because I think that's cowardly, and I think that's what some people want to see. I'm not gonna show that. What I want to say is this: regardless of what you think, you don't want to ever burn bridges. And what if anything, and and anybody that knows me, I'm a pretty low, mellow, kind of chill. I ain't tripping, Evie ain't tripping. That's my motto type perk guy that I have. But one thing that irks me is when people are ungrateful. When I have, like when you go, when I get all type of calls from coaches, even with my rankings now recently, and I know Eddie got this for years, and I know Shoes got it. Shoes is a certified NCAA scouting service. And the reason that I'm not a scouting service is not because I can't be, it's just because I chose not to, because I want to keep doing things like this, along with bringing on, coaches. Sometimes I have NCAA college coaches on. They wouldn't be able to come on the show if I was a scouting service. So there's a lot of things people don't know. But I just want to say this: don't burn, try to, talk about people who's helping your child, because at the end of the day, we're human too. And it's only by God's grace and his mercy and his love and the God in me that has me still say something positive, because I'm not going to ever hurt a child. And it what saddens me is when I go around, a lot of the kids know who I am. They may say, hey, that's Evie the Geeker, what up, Geeker? They may say, I lay you, I tray you, from the different things. And so, but what saddens me is when there are kids who used to speak to me, but because an adult or a parent has said something negative and they've heard that negative and they've turned negative against, per se, I'll just use me for example. That saddens me. That is really disappointing, and it's ugly. We shouldn't do that, because at the end of the day, there's not too many kids in this state, boys or girls. That's where the versatility comes with me. And I say this humbly, that I can't touch across this country, that I can't make a phone call. There's not somebody, and on the boys level, it goes all the way up to Mike Krzyzewski, all the way down to, wherever. And then it's a lot of times those on the girls, they, cross, they kind of like pollinate. So I may know somebody at the high level on the boys side that knows somebody high level on the girl side. And so just be careful when you're talking around, because when I was a kid, and I know Shoes a little older than me, kids wasn't in grown folk business. And that's, if you're going to say some negative stuff about any of us who's trying to help kids ultimately, don't say it around your kid, because the kids don't need to know your mess, because we're creating a negative culture right there. And we got to stop that. Go ahead, Shoes.
Well, I mean, I take heat all the time. I hear people say things about the rankings, this and that. I'm just hard. I'm just thick-skinned. I'm just thick-skinned. I'm gonna do it my way, and that's how I am. And so, when people that don't like it, I got a problem with it. I don't even hear them really, So, but you're right. You hate to see people take it too far to certain levels and things. And I just try not to get caught up in having any back and forth about that. So you don't give it any more fuel for the fire. It's my biggest thing. Just stay away from anything that's negative. Just stay away from it, because I'm not trying to give them more fuel for the fire. Arguing with them, anything is gonna help the case.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Nah, I was just gonna say I agree, man. You shouldn't go public on it. It's our opinions, and people got their own opinions, and that's their thing. And I was looking at this, and I know we're getting ready to close, but I was looking at when Kobe Bryant and played against Rip Hamilton in high school, and then after the game they ended up playing. They ended up eventually Kobe Bryant and Rip Hamilton played AAU basketball together, one of the top AAU programs in the country. And so the night before they played Tim Thomas, at that time, Tim Thomas was the number one ranked player in the country. And so Kobe was ranked like 56 or 57. And so he was telling Rip Hamilton, Rip said he didn't go to bed the whole night. Say Kobe stayed up the whole night just talking about what he was going to do, walking around the bed. And Kobe was yelling like, man, I can't believe they got me ranked number 56. Man, how does ESPN got me ranked number 56? He said, Tim Thomas, number one, he going to have to pay. And so Rip Hamilton said, man, it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Said, man, the man just wouldn't shut up. He became obsessed. So in other words, the moral to the story is, man, if you and so Kobe goes out, Kobe Bryant goes out, and I mean he kills Tim Thomas, you know what I mean, in front of all of the national media. And so ESPN next ranking obviously had Kobe ranked number one. So the moral of the story is, man, if whoever we got number one or whoever shoes got number one, just go out and beat them. When you get the opportunity to play them in the circuit, the AAU, man, go out there. If Josh Hubbard ain't number one, if you better than Madison Booker, go out play her. Until you can do that, then you're gonna be ranked where you are. And so, and again, like what Kobe did is he just used that as motivation. And so, so my thing is, man, if you better than the person, eventually it's gonna show. But I wouldn't want to be number one if I was playing basketball in this time in the era of social media and stuff. I would always want to be the underdog because being number one, you're gonna be hunted all the time, and to me, it says something about people who has that underdog mentality. So, but anyway, that's just
I
my two
tell
cents.
people all the time, I get a lot of texts and a lot of comments from different people about this and about that. When they text me, I just tell them my middle name is motivation. That's what I reply to them all the time. My middle name is motivation. In other words, if you don't like where I got you, prove me wrong, and I'll definitely change it.
Right.
Prove me wrong, and I'll definitely change it. I got to see it first. I'm from Missouri. Show me.
Well, as we get ready to close, we've been on. We appreciate everybody jumping on tonight. We've had some. Let's get get our last geek of the night. We'll start with Snacks if you're still there, and go ahead and just share, and then we'll go with you, Cord, and then Eddie Shoes, and then I'll close us out.
Yeah, like you say again, we want to definitely tip our hats off to Talante Accorda for putting on a successful hoops event, and also Lamont Roy for putting on a great event last week, and Mark Rowe had a good one at Madison Central as well. But it's been some good basketball being played around the state, and like Eddie said earlier, the younger generation, the younger classes, they definitely have some upcoming talent that's definitely going to be good for the state of Mississippi on the boys and girls. We definitely have a lot to look forward to because, like you said, we got another kid that we didn't get a chance to talk about on here, Adam Tyson from Oxford. He's one that's definitely they got the caliber of being like one of the ESPN top 100 guys too. But then again, like you say, it's definitely good to see that we have some upcoming talent in basketball to cover. And also, like I always give a shout out to the media coverage, like Southside Hoops and different people that media outlets that are covering these athletes and giving them film to be able to post on their platforms and things like that. It's always good for them to be able to shoot that out to college coaches, and also with the NIL era, build their brands in terms too. So that's kind of all I got. And of course, I got my first class at Mississippi College on December 23rd.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit. Before we move on, let's not go past that. Bassa, tell us Bassa, the Bassa Invitational, the background of Bassa and what that means and everything.
So Bassa is the brand, and Bassa stands for being a successful student athlete. It's an organization that I came up with, and we've been kind of building from there. We've been using it as a tool to, help young athletes build their name, image, and likeness, and also bring awareness to their platforms and growing their image. We have our first classic in December at Mississippi College, which will be 6 games. We have 5 boys games and 1 girls game. Next year, I got to bring Cord and Eddie in on so they can help me on the girls side because we're going to expand. But this year we did more boys game than girls game. But we have some very good matchups, and we'll be releasing some of the teams that'll be playing in the classic this upcoming week. So definitely look forward to that. And, if everybody got availability on their schedule, definitely want them to be there. It's going to be very, very entertaining.
And what day is that, Snack?
December 23rd, just that Friday before Christmas Eve.
Friday before Christmas Eve, I'll be in the building doing something. Whether we hadn't talked, either the play-by-play or the.
We'll tell him now. Evie will be in the building. He'll be our PA announcer.
Okay. Well,
You ain't got yourself.
What's your
Snack, you ain't got
hospitality room
yourself.
gonna look like?
Snack, you ain't got yourself nothing, man. Yeah, that you better not have no
Shoot,
hospitality room. You gonna be looking. You be
shoot,
What's
talking
your
to him in the
hospitality
room
room gonna look like?
all night.
shoot. This is all I'm gonna say. My name's Snacks, and Snacks ain't what gonna be in there. You definitely gonna. Hey, you might be in there sleep, man. By the time we get to about the third game, man,
Hey,
you gonna eat good.
if your brother is doing the
He in there. We ain't even got to talk about it. He already covering. So he covering a few of the game.
hey, well, I know we finna eat good.
That's what I'm
Glory.
talking about, Snacks. That's what I'm talking about, Snacks.
You know, arguably now, just want to make this clear, Snacks. Right now, out of all the camps and combines and hospitality rooms, it's been said that my hospitality room that I had for my first combine was the best hospitality room of all.
Tell them what all you had in there. Tell them everything you had.
I mean, we had barbecue ribs. Off the grill. My brother is legit. We had the mac and cheese. Shoes, was you there that day?
Oh yeah, I was there.
I mean, was
Hey,
it
we
one of
can't.
the top?
Hey, Ev,
Was it one of
you
the
can't.
top shoes that you've been to?
It was a good one. It was it's right there near the top, you know.
Yeah.
I trust my guy. Hey, shout out to my guy at Itawamba Community College, Coach Darren Wilson, one of the young emerging young coaches in the profession. They're definitely gonna make some noise. Hey, I trust his judgment. He told me Talante had a mean hospitality room in his classic too, so we got to put him in the mix.
It was good. I was there. I participated. I participated. I was a participant. And I'll tell you this, Lamont Roy had a good one with Esco's Eatery. Victoria Esco, mother of Jamal Esco, former point guard at Murrah. She did a great job on Saturdays, you know, so that was a pretty good one. So hey, the hospitality room, let's just not get a trick. Let's, like as Sam Rogers said, you know, we will one day we're gonna come in and knock off our top 15 gas stations in the state. So we ain't gonna try to trick ourselves like all
Like
of
it don't
us
matter.
like,
We don't try to trick ourselves like it don't matter.
that stuff matters, you know.
Hey,
so.
but one thing I definitely guarantee though, Eddie, make sure you in the building, Corey, all y'all invited, man. The hospitality room gonna be legit, man. It's gonna be legit. We're gonna have we got a couple of different. Hey,
what day you're in? It's on the what day?
I got your spot. I got your spot covering one of the hospitality room game, man. That good old name and face.
Okay.
It's gonna be Friday, Eddie, the 23rd.
All right, I'm gonna stop eating Wednesday night, so I'll be ready. Snacks.
hey, and to my last little geek, I want to shout out the young guards from Callaway too. They've been pretty solid. Ash Emmanuel from Callaway and in Vava. Those two have been good for Callaway.
Okay. So is Vava, you talking about Javarian Mallard?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mallard is the real, but Mallard's, you know, he is really good. And Callaway, you know, some of our live streamers are mentioning about Callaway. How's Callaway? And you know, Callaway is one of those teams listen. Timothy Speech, you can't. He has a state championship under his belt, so you can't dismiss Callaway. You know, Callaway does have the talent to scare some people and make a run. So we don't want to just dismiss Callaway. Go ahead, Cord. Your last geek, Cord.
I just want to say I'm gonna keep it short today, but I think it's a topic we need to speak on. These 23 kids, I'm kind of directing it towards you. These JUCO coaches and some coaches at 4 years too. You kind of turning them away from you holding out on these JUCO offers so long. You know, I think you need to go visit, make a decision. And a JUCO offer you can kind of get out of even if you get a 4-year opportunity. So just kind of think about that because you're turning some of these coaches away from you and they're looking elsewhere. So just be mindful of this.
So to make sure what you're saying, Corey, because it won't be no confusion. You're directing that toward the 23 players, the high school players.
Yeah, 2023 players. I'm sorry. Okay. 2023 high school players. Mostly on the girls' side speaking. I'm just throwing it out there because some of these coaches think, I ain't got no dog in the fight on that decision process. But I always tell the kids, if you got enough offers, been to these schools, I don't see a reason to hold out so long. If they want you, I'm going with the people that like me first. And I know you can't always go with the first grab, but I'm gonna go with the school that been showing me that love and that affection that I need. Everything that comes late ain't always good.
I think that's a great point, Cord. I think you made a great point. Why are you? What you waiting on? Because, like you said, and this is where, people just are ignorant, and ignorant just means you don't know. You can commit right now to a JUCO, like for example, Kayla Myers committed to Kahoma. Well, if Alcorn came along, we'll just use that for an example, and said we want Myers, she can go, and she wanted to get out of Kahoma, she could go up to Division One. Or if Mississippi College came and she wanted to go there, she could go to Mississippi College and would be
I
eligible.
just feel like it's a smart thing to do. Go ahead and lock in your JUCO. I'm mainly talking about just kids that got multiple JUCO offers. Like, what you holding for? Like you mentioned opportunities up for some other kids to get looks. It's just a whole circle of life with it. You gonna wind up going to a certain school anyway. And like you said, EV, if a 4-year D1 school come in and want you, you can get out that JUCO off and take the school. So I just think they need to be educated on that, because I think a lot of people think that Ole Miss gonna offer them in May. So just throwing that out there.
That's a great point. Easy one.
Man, I just want to say, man, we had a great show tonight. I appreciate all of you guys. Don't have a lot to say. Looking forward to seeing some more great basketball over the next couple of weeks. And man, let's go support Snack's event, man. Let's really, really turn up and show out for this guy first event. And man, I'm just looking forward to the rest of this year. Don't have too much other than that, brother.
All right, Shoes.
Man, I'm just, we've had a really good first month of basketball, but I'm excited to see what the next 2 months hold. December and January, especially January when we get in region play. I know it's gonna crank up even more. My approach with my rankings is kind of slide them and let them work themselves out sometime. So with these team rankings, maybe all of them beating up on each other, and people taking losses, playing tough schedules. I never fret about like dropping 2 below the 10, because I feel like they're gonna work their way back up. They're gonna handle their business. I did the same thing last year with Raymond. They lost early. They were down in the bottom part of the top 15, almost on the way out. As the season played on, they played the way back up. Man, it's all about. I'm a big quote person. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, the season is just getting going good, and a lot of these teams have had players on the football field, and the flu bug has been been wreaking havoc with teams so far this year. So, I think we're really going to get our best ball coming up this month. So I'm just excited to continue watching the season and everything. And on another note, I'm gonna say, I guess this must be the death dive for the dead Clarence legend and Danny Dove, because we ain't seen it yet. I don't know everybody always asking. I don't do it. I was messing with Brandon Saturday night. When y'all gonna do the Danny Dove? He said the same night, I don't work for him anymore. Nobody knows what's going on with the Clarence legend anymore. So hey guys, just come over and look at Mississippi Who Report, Mississippi Play Sport. We'll tell you the best guys are. Best guys.
That's right. Hey, that's right. I'll drink.
The Geeker top 90.
I'm in total agreement with that. I think that at the end of the day, even no disrespect to the Clarence Ledger and the Dandy Dozen and everybody that does stuff, but I think that, and I say this as humble as I can, I think that this show here, we have some of the top evaluators and top people who has our ear to the ground, and as far as looking at the talent, and we encourage. I had invited some other people to be a part of this, and they didn't feel that they needed to be a part, which was fine. And if you would like to come on Talking Hoops in the SIP, we don't know everything. We don't claim to know everything, but we love to have other voices, and we ask a lot of people to be a part. But one of the things we do have our ear to the ground, and we watch a lot of these kids, and so we're out and about. That's why you see us different places all over the state. And we cover everything. And if it's not us personally, we have somebody on our team. We have a team. That's what it's about, building a team. And it's not about just one person. And if we can get that, the unity of the brethren, if we can get that down pat, we will continue to do great things. And so for Katarius Jones, Delonte Weber, Thomas Snack Lee, Eddie Young, Lavelle Shoes Johnson, I'm Coach EV, aka EV the Geeker.